Hello and welcome straight to New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy, and coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's External Affairs Ministry says India and the US governments remain engaged with each other, aiming to enhance trade by addressing tariff and non-tariff barriers. The Sudanese army claims Khartoum's presidential palace has been retaken. Rebel paramilitary RSF responds with deadly drone strike. 3 journalists reportedly killed. London's Heathrow Airport power outage causes global flight disruptions which could extend over and beyond the weekend. Air India has also been affected. And Germany's upper house of parliament approves a huge package to strengthen the nation's military, modifying its constitutional provisions on borrowings. First up, let's get you all the updates from the United Kingdom, where the Heathrow Airport has been closed until midnight after experiencing a significant power outage due to a fire at a nearby electrical substation supplying the airport. The airport authorities have asked passengers to expect significant disruption over the coming days as they do not have clarity about the power restoration. Around 70 firefighters have been tackling the blaze in west of London, which led to a mass power outage at Heathrow and in neighbouring areas. Meanwhile, at least 120 flights in the air bound for Heathrow have been diverted due to airport closure. And screen recordings from flight tracking website Flight Radar 24 early Friday morning showed planes avoiding London's main airport, which is also Europe's busiest and the world's 4th busiest airport. Now, the closure of London's Heathrow Airport is set to affect global aviation systems for days at a cost of tens of billions of dollars. That's what experts are saying, posing questions about why better contingency planning was not in place at that vital hub.
Heathrow is the busiest airport in the UK and Europe. It's in the top 5 airports globally. It's the only hub airport for the UK. It's running at full capacity, pretty well all its normal planned opening hours. So to have it out of action for 24 hours is a massive impact for aviation, massive impact for the UK economy. We see particular impact from long-haul flights, which are already on their way to Heathrow and had to divert back to either their points of origin or numerous other airports. So some in the UK, some in Europe, some much further afield. The costs, again, are imprecise at the moment, but will certainly run into millions of.
Almost 84 million passengers passed through that airport just last year. It was a record for Heathrow. Now, in the wake of the power outage issue, Air India has issued an advisory regarding the operations to and from London's Heathrow Airport. Its London Heathrow bound AI 129 from Mumbai is returning, in fact, to Mumbai. AI 161 from Delhi has been diverted to Frankfurt, while all of Air India's remaining flights to and from Heathrow, including AI 111 of this morning, have been cancelled for the 21st of March, which is Friday. However, flights to London's Gatwick Airport remain unaffected. Air India will keep passengers updated about resumption of operations as soon as they have more information. Now, Germany's upper house of parliament on Friday gave the final seal of approval to a massive spending package aimed at beefing up the country's military and overhauling its infrastructure. The amendment was backed in the Bundesrat with 53 out of 69 votes in favour, passing the 46-vote threshold after it cleared the lower house on Tuesday. The package is the brainchild of the incoming government of the likely next Chancellor, Friedrich Merz, whose centre-right CDU/CSU is in coalition talks with the centre-left Social Democrats, that's the SPD, after February's elections. And at the same time, tensions are still on as Ukraine, Russia and the United States prepare for key talks in Saudi Arabia. The meeting set to take place on Monday come at a crucial moment in the ongoing conflict, with efforts for a potential ceasefire and a new economic deal on the table. We have more details in this report.
Monday marks a pivotal day as officials from Russia, Ukraine will meet counterparts from the United States in Saudi Arabia. Ukraine and Russian delegations will meet separately. The talks are expected to focus on halting strikes on critical energy infrastructure and exploring potential steps toward a broader ceasefire in the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine.
At the next meeting, which will be held on Monday in Saudi Arabia, our technical teams will be there. As I understand it, the structure is that there will be a meeting between Ukraine and America, and then, as the American partner said, shuttle diplomacy, followed by America and Russia, or it will be parallel meetings in one country on one topic.
You remember that we had quite a rich experience in implementing the Black Sea Initiative. We fulfilled all the conditions then, but the conditions in relation to us were never fulfilled. Therefore, of course, all this, as they say, on the shore will have to be discussed in details, and also the aspects related to the Ukrainian settlement, which the parties consider necessary to discuss.
Meanwhile, the European Union leaders have reiterated their support for Ukraine. But at a recent summit in Brussels, they stopped short of approving a major financial package for artillery purchases.
We decided in the conclusions to make the ramp up during the next 5 years in our own capabilities, but also to support Ukraine. All these instruments, the SAVE, more fiscal space, flexibilities on the use of cohesion funds, all of these give room to the member states to increase their support to Ukraine. Before this package, we have already a pledge of 15 billion euros from different member states.
Ukrainian President Zelensky had called for a 5 billion euro fund to help arm his country's forces against Russian aggression. Despite the hesitation on financial support, the European Union has agreed to explore joint military projects among member states, pooling resources to ensure that Ukraine receives more European-made arms. France and the United Kingdom are planning further efforts to solidify a ceasefire arrangement. As military leaders from 30 countries met in London Thursday to discuss future steps, UK PM Keir Starmer emphasized that ensuring a secure and sovereign Ukraine will be a critical component of any ceasefire decisions.
It is vitally important that we do that work because we know one thing for certain, which is a deal without anything behind it is something that Putin will breach. We know that because it's happened before. And I'm absolutely clear in my mind it will happen again. Therefore, what you're doing here today is vitally important to peace and security across Europe and for our NATO allies and, of course, crucially, for the United Kingdom.
These diplomatic talks will certainly be watched closely by world leaders. Monday's talks could set the agenda for eventual peace in Ukraine, or at least set the tone for finding it in days, weeks, or months ahead. Aarti Rana's report for DD India.
In an effort to secure U.S. interests in the global minerals market, President Donald Trump has invoked emergency powers to ramp up domestic production of critical minerals. Meanwhile, Trump also declared that the U.S. will soon sign a deal with Ukraine for access to its rare earth minerals. In a White House address, Donald Trump said he has signed an order to increase U.S. production of critical minerals and rare earths and will very shortly sign a pact with Ukraine.
And moments ago, I also signed an executive order to dramatically increase production of critical minerals and rare earths. It's a big thing in this country. And as you know, we're also signing agreements in various locations to unlock rare earths and minerals and lots of other things all over the world, but in particular Ukraine. We're doing very well with regard to Ukraine and Russia. And one of the things we are doing is signing a deal very shortly with respect to rare earths with Ukraine, which they have tremendous value in rare earth, and we appreciate that. And we spoke yesterday with, as you know, President Putin and President Zelensky, and we would love to see that come to an end, and I think we're doing pretty well in that regard. So hopefully we could save thousands of people a week from dying. That's what it's all about. They're dying.
Well, we'll have to see if things go as smoothly as Donald Trump thinks they will, because for now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that all nuclear power plants in Kyiv, that is his country, belong to the people of Ukraine, following comments by US President Trump suggesting that the US could own and operate the country's nuclear facilities.
All nuclear power plants belong to the people of Ukraine. They are state-owned nuclear power plants. We do not have private property, energy, nuclear power in Ukraine. We have thermal generation. There is green energy. There is private partnership. There is completely private energy. This is absolutely clear and correct. But all nuclear power belong to the state of Ukraine.
Now, Sudan's army has recaptured the presidential palace in Khartoum from the rapid support forces after a fierce battle. Army spokesperson Nabil Abdallah confirmed the victory, saying that their forces destroyed the enemy's equipment and seized large quantities of weapons. The army vowed to continue fighting until the militia is purged from the country. The presidential palace has been a key location in the conflict, with the RSF occupying it in April 2023. The conflict has so far killed tens of thousands of people, displaced over 12 million, and created the world's largest hunger and displacement crisis. The army's recapture of the palace marks a significant gain in the conflict.
Our steadfast and resilient people, in a timeless heroic battle, our forces crowned their successes today in Khartoum, where they were able to crush the remnants of the terrorist militia of Dagalo. In the areas of central Khartoum, the Arab market, and the buildings of the Republican Palace, a symbol of the sovereignty, pride, and dignity of the Sudanese people, and the buildings of the ministries. Our forces, thanks to God, completely destroyed the enemy's personnel and equipment and seized large quantities of their weapons and equipment in the aforementioned areas.
But the Sudanese rebel parliamentary RSF launched a drone strike on the presidential palace just hours after the military claimed to have recaptured it. A Sudanese army source said 3 journalists have been killed in the parliamentary drone strike on Khartoum's presidential palace. The journalists had been reporting from Sudanese state television when the Rapid Support Forces militia targeted the Republican Palace with a one-way attack drone. Meanwhile, Sudan's RSF has said that it has killed dozens, as the palace battle is not over yet. Let's now take a look at some other stories making news around the world as well. Now, protests continue in Turkey against the detention of Istanbul's mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu. Protesters clashed with the police at a few places on Thursday, forcing them to hit demonstrators with water cannons in Izmir city. Similar events took place in Ankara, where the police had to fire tear gas and dummy rounds at the crowds. A joint campaign called Notice 2 was launched by Mongolia's National Police Agency and the Capital City Department of Culture and Art to protect children and youth from drugs and narcotics in Ulaanbaatar. The department also announced that it will no longer cooperate with celebrities and artists involved in drug cases and narcotics. 2 people have been reported killed due to chikungunya epidemic in the French Indian Ocean island of La Réunion, according to the local authorities. Efforts are underway to fight the mosquito-borne disabling disease. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. India's Home Minister tells the Indian Parliament's upper house that his government has been acting strongly on the zero-tolerance policy towards terrorism. And the United Nations designates 2025 as the International Year of Glaciers' Preservation.
issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, India's Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal briefed the media on Friday. The MEA spokesperson touched upon various issues, including the Kailash Mansarovar pilgrimage, to which he said that the pilgrimage will start in 2025. However, talks are still going on. While speaking on the issue of tariffs, the MEA spokesperson said that India and the US are in the process of taking bilateral trade negotiations forward and that the country aims to enhance trade, address tariff and non-tariff barriers.
India and the US are in the process of taking bilateral trade negotiations forward. The two governments are actively working to build a framework for the BTA, which would aim to expand trade, enhance market access, reduce tariff and non-tariff barriers. Government of India remains engaged with the US administration at various levels to arrive at a mutually beneficial multi-sector bilateral trade agreement.
This, of course, is in the context of the reciprocal tariffs the US says it will invoke come the 2nd of April. On Pakistan, the MEA spokesperson said that the world knows the real issue is Pakistan's active promotion and sponsorship of cross-border terrorism, which remains the biggest roadblock to peace in the region.
The world clearly knows that the real issue is Pakistan's active promotion and sponsorship of cross-border terrorism. In fact, this is the biggest roadblock to peace and security in the region.
Now, the second half of the budget session of Parliament is underway. The upper house, that is the Rajya Sabha, discussed the functioning and priorities of the Ministry of Home Affairs. And replying to the debate, Home Minister Amit Shah said after Prime Minister Narendra Modi came to power, the government adopted a zero-tolerance policy against terrorism.
मैं सबसे पहले कश्मीर की बात करूंगा मान्यवर। कश्मीर में हम सब जानते थे कि पड़ोसी देश से आए दिन आतंकवादी घुसते थे, या बम धमाके करते थे, हत्याएं करते थे। एक भी त्योहार ऐसा नहीं होता था जो चिंता के बगैर जाता था। और केंद्र सरकारों का रवैया लचीला होता था, चुप्पी साध जाते थे, बोलने में डर लगता था, कोई दुविधा भी थी, शायद वोट बैंक का भी डर था। नरेंद्र मोदी जी के आने के बाद आतंकवाद के खिलाफ जीरो टॉलरेंस की नीति प्रधानमंत्री जी ने।
And in the lower house of India's Parliament, the Lok Sabha, demands for grants for the Ministry of Agriculture were discussed, while discussions on grants under the control of the Ministry of Jal Shakti was concluded in the morning. The Lok Sabha is also expected to pass the union budget by a voice vote a little later in the day. The BJP has issued a 3-line whip for all its Lok Sabha MPs, asking them to be present in the Lok Sabha on Friday for the passing of the union budget 2025. Purple Fest 2025 at the Rashtrapati Bhavan celebrates resilience, inclusion and empowerment of persons with disabilities. The festival highlights their achievements and promotes a more inclusive society. DD India's Siddharth Bharadwaj reports.
I am at a very special place for a very special event. I am at Rashtrapati Bhavan for Purple Fest Delhi 2025. This festival honors the zeal, grit and determination of the persons with disabilities. Last year as well, around 10,000 people participated in this unique celebration of unity and togetherness. The main aim of this festival is to create awareness of the persons with disabilities and the challenges which they face in their everyday lives. Also, This fest promotes the idea of inclusive society wherein persons with disabilities are given equal opportunities in every sector. Also, this particular fest provides an equal opportunity for persons with disabilities to come and showcase their talent, skills and creativity. And also, persons with disabilities bridge the gap between general population and the persons with disabilities. This particular fest is organized by the Department of Empowerment for Persons with Disabilities, and they give a clear message that sky is not the limit, it's just the beginning. With camera person Naveen Kumar, this is Siddharth Bhardwaj reporting for DD India in New Delhi.
And speaking of the Purple Fest underway at the Rashtrapati Bhavan, Asian Paralympic Committee member Deepa Malik expressed her joy for such an event, which makes it more inclusive for all sections of society.
It's indeed a great moment, and especially happening in the lawns and the gardens of Honorable President, the first citizen of India. This is the message which has gone out to the entire country that our Viksit Bharat is going to be inclusive Bharat, and we can see the awareness through the purple moment. I am a sports person, and in the Paralympics we had We the 15, the purple movement that had become the 2020 Tokyo Para Games and Paralympics, and I'm so beautiful and so amazing to see that now my country is also turning purple. And when we talk purple, we definitely say that this is about the rights of persons with disability, equal opportunities for persons with disabilities, and also making India inclusive.
Also on the occasion, Rajesh Agarwal, Secretary, Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities, spoke about the grandness of the event this year, which was a first in many respects.
In fact, we have more than 50,000 online registrations. So, and I'm sure we will have more than 25,000 people throughout the day, and most of them Divyangjan. We have really encouraged all the children of NCR region. You will see a lot of sport events, lot of special sports, lot of cultural activities, and so on. Lot of painting things happening. We had all the corporate friends actually reaching out to us by themselves, and we are really thankful to all the corporate colleagues who have really brought their experts also to mentor on different things and really contributed.
Now, with the paramount objective to promote health, hygiene and wellness, ASSOCHAM organized 3rd Awareness Summit on Illness to Wellness in the National Capital, Delhi. On the first day of the summit, the health experts participated in various sessions emphasizing on the need to prioritize physical, mental as well as spiritual health. Eminent medical practitioners also highlighted how air pollution has become a major factor leading to heart diseases. Advisor in the Ministry of Ayush, Dr. Manoj Nisari, congratulated ASSOCHAM on taking the Illness to Wellness campaign forward.
Illness to wellness is a very important this concept, and I congratulate ASSOCHAM for taking this forward. The very important thing is that when we say that we want to be healthy, so it is not just the physical health, but it is the physical health, it is the mental health and the spiritual health. So all these three, they are important. And what the Prime Minister Modi always says, that sabka saath sabka vikas. So it is also more applicable to the human being because it is the mind, body and the spirit. So they all stay together, and because of that actually we can be healthy.
The United Nations has designated 2025 as the International Year of Glaciers' Preservation to highlight the importance of glaciers and ensure that those relying on them and those affected by cryospheric processes receive the necessary hydrological, meteorological and climate services. These efforts underscore the critical role mountain regions play as a key source of global freshwater and ecosystem services. The theme of the UN's International Year of Glaciers' Preservation 2025 is Glacier Preservation, which emphasizes the urgent need to protect glaciers and their vital role in the climate system and water cycle, focusing on the impact of rapid glacial melt. Meanwhile, a UN report has warned that saving glaciers is crucial for the planet's survival, as all 19 global glacier regions lost mass in 2024. The World Meteorological Organization says the past 5 years have seen the fastest glacier retreat on record, with 275,000 glaciers shrinking due to climate change.
2021 to 2024, the glacier mass loss over that 3-year period was the most negative 3-year glacier mass balance on record. And in 2024 itself, there were exceptional losses in Norway, Sweden, Svalbard, and the tropical Andes. And you can see that the rate of glacier loss has increased over time.
Now on to sports. In 2025 Freeride World Tour season witnessed a spirited competition between the champions in the scenic location of Verbier in Switzerland. The event concluded with the announcement of winners as both viewers and participants relished the scenic beauty of the location and the thrilling attempts by different skiers as well, or freeriders as they're called. And that's all we have for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. You can scan the QR code and download the app right now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.